You want to stand?
Yeah.
All right, amen. Yes, Mayor made that a big deal yesterday at the board meeting, didn't he?
Good afternoon. It's indeed an honor to be before you today. I want to recognize City Directors Antoine Phillips and Virgil Miller. We believe City Director Warwick is on her way as well. Chief Helton and Assistant Chiefs Dyer and Ellison, who are here with us today, as we give our public safety briefing. Typically, we see an uptick in crime during the summer months. And if you can remember some 2 years ago, when we saw violent crime on the rise in this city and also across the nation, we implemented a number of different strategies to reduce this crime. And we implemented our holistic crime reduction strategy, and that strategy has and continues to be working. And so even sometime about 2 years ago, we were having monthly public safety meetings, and now that we've entered into the fourth quarter of 2024, we wanted to give an annual update to what's going on in the state capital city as it relates to crime. I'm happy to report that crime is not only down year to date, negative 4%, particularly as it relates to violent crime. It is down a negative 6% the last 5 years. One of the things you'll hear Chief Helton say is that a true telltale of any city is not the year-to-date number, it's generally between the last 3 to 5 years. And we have consistently and continuously invested into the Little Rock Police Department to ensure the state's capital city's safety by focusing on police resources, whether it's been our historic raises for the Little Rock Police Department, focusing on our real-time crime center as it relates to the dollars that we've leveraged, but also prevention and intervention treatment, and as well as our crisis response teams. And when you see this holistic approach, is also a holistic funding mechanism that does not happen without our City of Little Rock Board of Directors' support of our budget and our budget request. And we continue to prioritize public safety, and that's the reason why you see that close to 58% of the city's $331 million budget goes towards public safety. And as we continue to focus on being a safer city, we want to highlight what's going on and what has contributed to that success. The tactics led by Chief Helton, whether it's dosing strategies, whether it's our community violence community response teams that are engaging our residents that may be mentally ill and in a violent episode, either also our unhoused residents at that point in time as well, to the focus on what we do with our youth and our young adults as it relates to our prevention and intervention treatment programming and dollars. These things all holistically together under the leadership of Chief Helton and the unity between the City of Little Rock Board of Directors and my administration have seen this continuous reduction in crime. We're excited about that. This doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens and makes certain that we're all on one accord. We also want to, as we continue to see this reduction and focus on those further reductions and those goals, is we need to continue to have the help of our residents. Earlier this year, we announced the Eyes on the Rocks campaign that helps focus on getting businesses and residents involved in our real-time crime center, where we leverage American Rescue Plan Act dollars to put more eyes on the streets to help us to be smarter on crime. We've seen huge success. We want to see more, so that means we want more residents and businesses to sign up. Chief Helton will discuss that as well. But in addition to that, as we continue to focus on the funding of our police department and we continue to make that a priority, we want to encourage residents to consider, as they go to the November 5th ballot and we focus on a safer city, to understand that what we have on the ballot is also public safety. That we will utilize a considerable amount of the dollars of the Results for the Rock committee and that campaign for that ballot initiative, that unanimous support from City of Rock Board of Directors to fund public safety fleet for both police and fire, fund additional dollars for our real-time crime center, fund additional dollars for what we do for homelessness, additional dollars for code enforcement that sometimes leads to violent actions. And that being said, that will help add more dollars to again, that 58% of a $330 million budget. And this is what it takes, that we make certain that the men and women of Little Rock Police Department have every resource available to him that costs money. We want to make certain that we ensure that they have those resources so we can continue to see our violent crime and overall crime continue to be driven down. And as we talk a lot about violent crime, right now, I can remember when I took my first year in office in 2019, we saw 49 homicides, and we saw an uptick. In the last few years, we've been seeing this downtick. And so right now we've seen that I believe somewhere around 26 to 28% reduction in homicides. That's a big deal. And I want to say this, that while one homicide, one loss is one too many, we want to applaud the men and women of Little Rock Police Department to ensuring that it continues to get driven down. We hope to get it driven down to zero. But it happens because we're all working on one accord together for the safety of the state's capital city. As we continue to prosper, we want to get better in our safety, which we have seen, and want to continue to do that. We'll now have Chief Helton, who will go into the details of what we've seen, this constant and continuous reduction, not only in violent crime, but overall crime. And particularly as it relates to robbery and things of that nature, everything is down. And we look at the details of those numbers. When you see some of the most violent areas of our city, they too have seen reduction in crime that gets to this whole macro level. Chief Helton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon. I want to thank you all for being here today. As the mayor mentioned, we've seen a decrease in crime, and this continued downward trend has been very reflective as we end the third quarter of 2024. This is a testament to our hard work and dedication by our officers, our staff, as well as our community partners. This achievement highlights the successes of our proactive strategies, community policing techniques, and our targeted enforcement actions. So the mayor kind of talked about our crime numbers. So far this year to date, overall crime is down 4%. Violent crime is down 4%. And we talk about our violent crime, that's usually your homicides, robberies, aggravated assaults, and anything that has to do pretty much with violence. So we've seen a decrease, 28% in our homicides from this time last year. 7% in rapes are down. We've seen a 6% decrease in robberies in our community, and then 3% in our ag assaults. Overall crime, like I said, 4% down. Property crimes, which generally plagues a lot of communities across our nation, and no difference here in Little Rock, we're overall down in all categories with the exception of one, when it comes time to burglaries and car break-ins. We see a 4% overall increase in that. So what we need to do is really encourage our community to lock up your cars. Take your property out of your cars. And one of the things that really concerns me is when we talk about weapons. On average in the city of Little Rock, we lose 6 guns per week that are stolen out of vehicles. You do the math, that's 312 guns a year that find their way to our streets and become crime guns. We've got to do a better job in securing our weapons. Take them out of your vehicles. So we talk about that and how important it is for those things to occur and how it usually reflects over into our summer months. When we talk about summer months, that June to August corridor is usually a pretty violent time in our communities. When we see an increase in a lot of our crimes, you got schools out, a lot of people out doing things, the temperature gets warmer, so you see usually an elevation there. Over the last 5 years, on average, we had roughly about 997 violent crimes reported from the month of June to the end of August. This year, in 2024, we only had 934. The real significant number that stands out to me, if you go back and look at 2021, 2022, and 2023, we saw over 1,000 incidents reported of violent crime during those 3 years. So we're roughly down 6% from where we were this time last year over the summer. A lot of people ask, what's that contributed to? Well, I think a lot of different things that we did. One, I'll talk about the holistic approach. Our Department of Community Programs here within the city had a very successful youth summer employment program. We saw more numbers this year than we've seen in the past, and we were able to put a lot of young people to work over the summer, so we're keeping them off the streets. We had the initiative that was called Project Impact, where we focused on areas of our city that what not only could the police do, but how do we bring in other resources within the city's departments to target issues that are quality of life issues in neighborhoods, trash, ditches, abandoned cars, weed lots, abandoned property. So we came together as a group collectively and went into neighborhoods where we saw historically high levels of crime, and we took a full-fledged, all-hands-on-deck approach to cleaning up certain areas. And we're going to continue that initiative going forward in the future because we saw a huge impact with that. Our enforcement efforts. We had Operation North Star was here recently. There was a press conference a couple weeks ago in reference to that operation with the United States Marshal Service along with the Arkansas State Police and various other local law enforcement agencies to really target bad actors within our community. These are people that are really the worst of the worst, the bad of the bad, out here pulling triggers, causing a lot of violent crime to go up. So that was a targeted effort, very successful. We also had an operation we did with the Arkansas Attorney General's Office related to organized retail crime. We've seen stories across the country with issues related to that. We did a successful operation not only here in our city, but North Little Rock and Conway to target those businesses where we're seeing organized retail crime occur. So those initiatives in the summertime, along with some data-driven resources, you heard the mayor mention dosing, we use the data to put us in the areas that we see that are occurring more often, that we see crimes being reported. So we focus our efforts and our resources to go into those locations to help drive down crime. And to me, the most important thing on the back end of that, our community engagement. Our community engagement has increased tenfold. Getting more neighborhood associations involved, getting the community to work with us on solving the problems. While I am very proud of our progress, we know there is still a lot of work to be done. Our commitment to public safety remains stronger than ever, and we will continue to engage with our community to ensure a safe environment for all our residents. By focusing on building trust, promoting communication, and leveraging the latest technology, we're able to respond more effectively and prevent crime before it occurs. You heard the mayor talk about our Eyes on the Rock initiative that came out earlier this year. Been very successful, but I can promise you we need more involvement from our community. As of today, our Real-Time Crime Center, we have just over 2,100 cameras registered from our community members that have registered their cameras. We have roughly a little over 1,800 cameras that have been integrated into our crime center, and those could range anywhere from schools, local businesses, some of our community stakeholders. For our city, as fast as we're growing, that needs to increase. Our Real-Time Crime Center has been a huge part of why we've seen a downward trend in crime, and we've got to continue that. Everybody has a role in helping to make our city safe, and just simply registering and getting on board, that's going to help us. Help be part of the solution. I want to thank our local law enforcement partners and my personnel and the team behind me of my assistant chiefs for all the work that they've done and their tireless efforts and commitment during this time period. I also want to recognize the community for their partnership, because reducing crime is something we achieve together. And by working together, we're creating safer streets, neighborhoods, and a stronger sense of security for our city. Remember, if you see something, say something. That is very important, especially in the world we live in today. We remain vigilant and dedicated to improving our strategies to sustain this momentum, not only moving forward, but for the future. Starting tomorrow, we have our quarterly neighborhood meetings. And what this is, for those in the community who are not aware, we invite the community into our police substations to come in and learn about what's going on in specific divisions. Tomorrow night, we'll begin the one for the 12th Street Division. It'll begin at 6 p.m. at the 12th Street substation. That allows residents that reside within the 12th Street Division to come in, meet the commanders. We'll do a very much deep dive into what's going on in the surrounding area when it particularly pertains to numbers. The mayor talked about our 5-year average. I don't mind sharing today because it'll be talked about tomorrow, but the 12th Street corridor for our city is no secret. There's been a lot of violent crime in that area over the years. And I'm happy to stand here before you all today that say over the last 5 years, we are down in every category when it comes to crime. Homicides in the 12th Street corridor, over the last 5 years are down 19%. Overall crime, violent crime is down 10%. Property crime down 19%. Overall crime in the 12th Street corridor, 16% down over the last 5 years. That is significant. And as the mayor said, if you want to truly tell health of what we're doing as far as addressing crime, that 5-year average is what tells us how well we're doing. Year to year, your numbers can fluctuate depending on one incident after another. But if you really look what you're going over the last 5 years, that is the telltale. And I'm proud to say we are moving in the right direction. We have a lot of work, but our citizens, our community, our residents ought to feel very happy with what we're doing. But as the mayor mentioned about the sales tax, that's going to help us continue to move even more forward, move the needle even more. That is vital for us, not only just as a PD, but for my friends at the fire department as well. Our code enforcement, very valuable to what we do in our communities. It is a partnership between all of us, and it's going to take more resources for us to continue to address an ever-growing community. Our population is 210,000 right now. We're going to continue to grow whether we like it or not. The East Coast and West Coast are very expensive. People are moving to Middle America. And Arkansas, the city of Little Rock specifically, is a destination. So we've got to continue to be able to supply the men and women of our public safety outlets to be able to give them the resources to do what they need to do. So I hope we will get the support that we need from our community as we look forward to the sales tax vote on November the 5th. So a reminder, again, next week, or excuse me, starting tomorrow, 12th Street Station, quarterly meeting. Next Thursday, October the 17th, we'll be at the Northwest Division. And then on the 24th will be our Southwest Division quarterly meeting. We hope our community members will come out, get a chance to meet them. PD will not only be there, we'll have other departments there as well. Oftentimes we get a lot of complaints when it comes to code or any other issue, but we'll have other departments there to help answer questions as well. So we encourage everybody to come out. And I will wrap up by allowing Assistant Chief Dyer to come up and address, just make a few comments. He's the Bureau Chief over our Field Services Division that will be overseeing the State Fair that will begin here in the next couple of days. So I wanted him to make just a quick brief statement about the safety for the fair and as we move towards that and hopefully have a successful event there. Chief Dyer.
I'd like to start off with saying thank you to the mayor and the chief for allowing me to come and speak just briefly on some of our intentions about securing the properties that the State Fair will be on. We're excited, we're prepared, we're ready. We are prepared for this since the last day of the State Fair a year ago. Our intentions, along with our law enforcement partners, the Arkansas State Police, Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, is to make that the most secure ground in the city on the dates between the 11th and the 20th. We have many officers that will be out there. We are ready to go. We expect for everyone to come out to have a good time. For those that decide to come out and create havoc, we will do what we need to do to make sure that you understand it will not be tolerated. The fairgoers and all of our law enforcement partners, we're all on the same accord. We want to make sure that the families that decide to come in and share our beautiful city, those families will be secure. So we're going to have mounted officers out there, bicycle officers out there. We're going to have officers on foot. We'll have drones in the air. There is not going to be a spot within within the fairgrounds that you will not see a police officer. One of the greatest compliments this department received last year is the overabundance of officers and the way everyone that came in felt safe. Unlike some of the rumors they had heard, because of the number of officers we had out and the way we secured that ground, they felt safe. And we want that to continue. So please understand, we are here for you, we're ready for you, we're prepared for you, and we're excited to be a part of this. Thank you.
We'll open the floor for any questions. Yes, Milo.
Chief Helton mentioned that some community stakeholders have integrated cameras. Could you be more specific about what you mean by community stakeholders?
Residents, organizations like the Little Rock Chamber, the Downtown Little Rock Partnership, any type of association, Rotary, they've all been central points that we've gone to get more residents involved and engaged in that process. Neighborhood associations, many times when we go to these quarterly meetings starting tomorrow, we'll be asking those residents as well.
So is the police department allowing private residents to integrate their home?
I'll let Chief Helton give more specific. The short answer is yes, but nobody's looking at anybody's home and things of that nature. He can walk through those details. Yeah. But he'll correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, great question. There often is confusion about what is integrated and what's registered. We don't have any residents that have integrated, so to speak, where we can pull up their cameras from their house and watch inside. Mostly that's our businesses and schools of that nature. Mostly what we ask for our residents to do is go online and register. They can go to connectlittlerock.org. You just simply put in your address. I have this number of cameras, and it registers it with us. How that benefits us as a department is if we have an incident occur in that neighborhood, so to speak. Hey, say we've had a bad incident occur in your neighborhood, you've registered. We can go online, find out who in that area has a camera, and we can send a blanket email out to the public and say, hey, please check your camera between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. We had an incident occurred and we're looking for a red car. If you see anything, please send it to us and let us know. Simply, that's how it gives people the ability to be part of helping out. Because back in the old days when I was a detective, you had to go out and do neighborhood canvases. You'd go mostly during the day. Most people work. They weren't at home. You put your business card in the door. Lucky enough, the wind would blow. It lands in the flower bed. 3 months later, when you're out cleaning your flower bed, you're like, why did the police come by my house? Because I found your business card in my flower bed. So this is just, again, how we evolve. We're leveraging technology to help us become more efficient and effective in the way we investigate crime and allowing the community to be part of the solution we talk about addressing crime. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
The River Market was split off in 12th Street, right, as kind of a enforcement in that area?
Yes.
Are the statistics kept separately now, and if so, how are we looking at that area?
You know, the River Market is, overall crime is down in the River Market, and I didn't bring their numbers with me because it's different. You know, the River Market, anytime you have an entertainment district, you're always going to have numbers that are really kind of, you're going to have car break-ins. You get, obviously, you know, disagreements and skirmishes that will occur at the local establishments, sometimes when they close down. So after concerts, you're going to have those type of things when you have events. So those numbers are kept separate, but I'm sure you'll be at the meeting tomorrow night, and I can get those for you.
Last year, I know this auto-B&E problem was still a problem. Y'all had some success last year arresting repeat offenders when you have auto-B&Es. Is there evidence that the people doing that now are the same people who have gotten out, or is it new bad actors?
It's a combination of both. You know, unfortunately, those type of incidents, they're, you know, not detained very long in our jails. You know, everybody knows our jails are dealing with staffing. I mean, you know, crowding, overcrowding, and things of that nature. Mostly holding violent offenders in those, you know, over in the jails at this time. But what we're seeing here in Little Rock as well with the car break-ins, they're plaguing all areas of Central Arkansas and other areas across the state as well. And it's really a nationwide problem. So it's just one of those offenses that is a challenge. You know, we have groups that will come in and some of y'all have been in meetings before. We heard they work the circuit. They'll hit Little Rock and then they'll move to areas of Saline County, up to Faulkner County, and then back down to Little Rock. So some of them are very creative. But one thing that will help us, quit leaving stuff in the cars. That's a big thing.
One last question? If not, thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all.